Today, let's get to listen to stories of triumph amidst failures, courage despite fear, strength through weakness, and even the occasional hopeful cheer from personal punny experiences. I am your host, RKaye, and this is the BetterU podcast. What is up, fam? Welcome to another episode of the BetterU podcast. Coach RKaye here today, and we are still answering some of the most frequently asked questions out there. Some probably of the questions you have tried to type in to Google and see the answers for yourselves. All right. So today's episode, I am going to answer possibly one of the immediate questions that many people who start off their fitness journey suddenly realize as they begin training and being consistent and doing really their best to stay within their training programs. And that question is, can I train every day and not have a rest day? All right. So that's probably one of the quickest things that you could possibly think of or, begin to question, especially when it seems to many of us that starting off a fitness journey is something that, possibly for the lack of term, it's something quite difficult. I always have had, doubts if you can start off a training program and, finish and fulfill the entire routine as intended, right? So I myself have experienced that. I'm sure you guys have also had those doubts that, okay, maybe I won't really be able to stay within my training routine as consistently as I can. So maybe I should put things to pause. Maybe I should postpone when I start things out. All right. So those are the many things that pop up into our heads. And oftentimes it's just pretty much other issues that we've experienced previously. That's why we feel there's such fears, such doubt. And included with that is the term rest. All right. So many of us, when we start off our journey and, one day becomes every other day of training, becomes, I've been training for 2 weeks, been training for 3 weeks, been doing it for the entire month, been doing it for a couple of months. And then all of a sudden we feel as though it scares us even more when we think about the word rest or taking time off. And honestly, fam, I have also been in that situation. Let me just tell you a very quick story about that. Our coach in powerlifting, you can look him up. His name is the Nasty Coach over on Instagram. And I do remember having a phase in my career as a powerlifter where I insisted that I wanted to train 6 days of the week. All right. So I only had 1 day off. And now, of course, my brilliant coach made it possible for me to sustain a 6-day training regimen of powerlifting because my program was set up in a way where I wouldn't die. If you know what I mean. So if you do intend to lessen the number of rest days within your training routine or your regimen, that is something that is doable, as long as, again, as mentioned previous episodes, just make sure that you have ample rest for each of your body parts or each of the muscles that you use. So let's say, as an example, let's say you did chest day on a Monday. You could actually do another chest day after a couple of days. All right. Same goes with a leg day. So you can do maybe for leg day and lower back day. So some of the bigger muscle groups that you would like to work on, maybe you'll be needing more than 24 hours of rest between each training session. So I suggest at least a minimum of 48 hours. Maybe if you're a little finicky or you really want to train, you can do maybe 36 hours. Okay, so those are just a little tweak, I suppose, that you could actually do for your own training regimen. Again, guys, it's always best to not just go at it on your own. If you can at least consult with a fitness professional, a personal trainer, a coach, an online coach like myself, you can consult and see how you can go about what is the perfect strategy for you, especially since do consider that if you want to train at least six times a week, all right, like what I did, you have to also consider your own lifestyle. Will you be able to still do the other things that you need to do in life? All right. If you train 6 days in a week, possibly that could also be a cause for overtraining on your end. So again, it will also depend on your fitness level. It will depend on how long you have been into training or how long your fitness journey has been. I do not suggest training 6 days in a week if you're literally starting from nothing. Even for those of you who have already previously trained but have been literally not training at least over a month maybe or a couple of months, you may want to reset your body first, let your body get ready again or reset your body to sustain the type of training that you will be going into. Now, I'm not saying this to baby everyone or that, you should start light first or whatever. If you are, again, sometimes it is mind over matter, right? If you are really willing to put in the work, even if you are really tired, you will still be able to fulfill the training regimen that you want. Now, that is, of course, the extreme part of it, guys. If you are like me, who really did intend to train almost every day in a week, by all means, that is something that you could do. But again, ideally, you would want to at least have a day off between if you're working out a full body routine, you would want to at least have 24 hours between your training program. If you are working on split routines, meaning you have a focus on maybe lower extremities and upper extremities, you can possibly, as a recommendation, and from my own experience, you can do upper body, lower body, and then rest. Upper body, lower body, rest. Sundays, oftentimes I tell people to really have rest because, a lot of us, you may not be Catholic, but you possibly could also have a different religious background or a different religion that also has Sundays for rest, or maybe a Saturday for rest. Depends on your lifestyle again. But yeah, most of the time, that is how you go about training. Now, of course, some of you are probably thinking, but I'm scared to rest. I really do not want to rest. There is also an option to have active rest, which oftentimes people just, dismiss to be, go for a walk or do a little bit of cardio. That's fine. Okay, that could be considered as active rest. To me, the meaning of active rest is pretty much, going a couple of levels below what you would normally do. So I suggest, if you are the type who does a lot of weight training, your active rest day could be a lot of flexibility and mobility training. People tend to think that flexibility and mobility training is something very easy. It's not. You can still exert a lot of effort and burn calories when you do flexibility exercises, as well, even more so with mobility exercises. All right, so you can research a lot more on that. Again, if you're working on your own training regimen by yourself, if it's a do-it-yourself program, those are the things that are very easily tweakable. Those are the easiest things that you can, again, be able to do like immediately if you would want to do that. All right, so again, guys, if you don't really want literally to rest or take the time out or not do anything, people think that when you rest, you do nothing, totally zero amount of activity. And it doesn't have to be that way, especially if you really, 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 really start loving to train. Sometimes you actually look for breaking that sweat or making sure that your heart starts pumping. I do understand that, guys and gals. So if that is truly something that you would also want to look into, active rest is something that is definitely doable for anybody. Now, of course, there is also some people who, already develop a bit more confidence in being able to stay consistent even with an actual rest day, meaning, almost zero activity. Now, I suggest, if you are that type, if you are courageous enough to already go and do your rest, you can also do a few recovery treatments. Let's say go get a massage, go and have maybe a steam bath or sauna. Sometimes you can just sit back and relax a little bit, guys. All right. You can go and look for maybe a sports massage special list specialist. All right. You can go to a chiropractor if you want. For a time being, I also experienced I'm pretty scared of chiro. So, what is the term that I am using? Oh, I did a bit of ART. All right. So if that's something that you'd like to do instead of going to a chiropractor, yeah, that was a term that I was thinking about. I think I kind of double down on chiropractor and cryotherapy. There you go, guys. So if you don't want the sauna or the steam, you can do cryotherapy, meaning an ice bath, all right? Or just, putting ice on yourself. I am not sure. All right, there are some science-backed research for many of these different types of relaxing methods that you could also use. So if you're into that, you can go ahead and do it. Some people also do, what do we call that? Anyway, that all of those different all of those different things aside, guys, if that is something that you would like to look into and try to practice, instead of active rest, maybe you want to literally just sit back, relax, and enjoy the free time away from training. These are some of the things that you could really consider doing instead. All right. So, guys, for every one of us who really truly starts off our fitness journey, I know that it can truly be an experience that sometimes can really affect how we think about ourselves and how we think of looking into the habits that we get to create and develop within ourselves. And so, if again, you are the type of person who thinks or starts becoming a bit cautious, a bit doubtful, a bit fearful of being able to maintain your commitment to your fitness journey, don't worry, because as I've mentioned, there are so many different options for you out there. You do not need to be scared of taking a rest day between your training routines, all right? It is always healthy to make sure that your body recuperates, because our bodies are pretty much machines, all right? If your phone, you recharge your phone, right? We all do. And especially when our phones are almost out of battery, that is the same for all of us, all right? Our body also has its own battery, okay? So don't mistake having the last 5% of your battery to still be something that will be worthwhile for you to still continue on with training. You can probably do that, but I highly doubt that the level of experience that you will be having that day with just 5% of yourself remaining, I don't think, and I do not advise for you guys to continue on with that. it is always great to at least have enough life and enthusiasm left in yourself before you continue on with each of your training days. All right, guys? So I hope that today's episode is something that has been able to enlighten you guys, and that it's something that will help you feel a bit better with yourselves. Don't feel guilty if you have a rest day, guys. All right? There's always that voice at the back of our head saying, oh, you shouldn't rest. Because what's going to happen is your rest day is going to be a rest week and then a rest month, and then you're not going to be training anymore, period. All right? Don't do that, okay? Don't let that voice inside your head be the one bossing you around. Tell that little voice in your head to zip it, because you are in control and you are committed to this whole journey ahead. All right, guys? So that is it for our episode today. Watch out for more episodes about frequently asked questions, especially if you're starting out your fitness journey or wanting to continuously be committed to your fitness and health. All right, guys, thank you again for joining me in today's episode. Coach RKaye here, reminding you always to never give up on your movement journey, because it's never too late to move. Bye, guys.